Musical theater is not just an underrated medium, it is the best medium. Now, I use that word medium because that's what it is. It's a medium. It can fit a bunch of genres within it, like musical horror, musical comedy, musical teen romance, the full gamut. So, I'm gonna say the thesis of this video is that musical theater is not just an underrated medium, but the most emotionally satisfying and potentially the best medium for any dramatic storytelling. Yeah, let's get to it. I'm starting with my favorite part of musical theater. It really is an artist medium opposed to the more bureaucratic media of film and television. Every musical you've ever seen is more likely than not the sole work of artists collaborating to create a fantastic final product free of interference from the people paying the bills. This is innate in the medium because the audience doesn't lie. Every night at previews, one can read the room and everyone is actually aware of what's wrong and what should be fixed. There's not the gamble of guesswork like you have in every other form of media. It's just there, and it's a wonderful freedom. Except Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. That was interfered with until it became, both dull and baffling. But everything else, the artistic freedom of musical theater is wonderful. But it's obvious, so let's move on to what's next. Harry Potter was such an incredible puzzle piece to the zeitgeist of the early 2000s. But why do we know and understand Harry Potter so much better in the books than we do in the films? Not to say anything terrible about Daniel Radcliffe, who is fantastic, but we simply can't get into Harry's head the way that the book allowed us to. The film medium just can't let us get into Harry's head the way that the novels did because it would just be really awkward if Harry just spoke his feelings to a wall. But do you know what gets the closest to bringing us inside Harry Potter's head?
I don't want a hug.
No, that's the wrong clip. I mean the guy from Glee.
And so many nights I'd pray for a better life and a better day, but I never thought that it'd come true. It's finally here and I don't know what to do.
This comedy musical is able to express the inner machinations of Harry Potter's thoughts more than the 8 movies were. Now, why is this? When someone comes forward to the front of the stage and lets loose a musical number, they aren't just shouting a catchy ditty. They're releasing their inner thoughts and feelings, not unlike how a novel would describe a protagonist's inner thoughts. This is why adaptations from book to stage are so effective. It's quite often that one can just take the inner thoughts and feelings of character described in a book word for word and transcribe it to music. You can see this being used effectively in Dave Malloy's Natasha, Pierre, and the Great Comet of 1812, where Tolstoy's original text is just transposed to the stage so effectively. With the addition of external musical expression of internal thoughts and feelings, allow for musical theater to do what very few storytelling mediums are able to do. Understand the inner thoughts of the characters. Do you think anyone gave a damn about minor character like Eponine Thénardier before the musical of Les Miserables brought you into her thoughts? Not particularly. Now, enough about the character development. Let's talk a bit about performance. Let's talk about a virtue available to live theater that is almost unseen in any other medium. The variation of performance. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's take one of the most iconic roles in musical theater history.
Welcome and bienvenue, welcome. Français, étranger, stranger. Glücklich zu sehen, je suis enchanté.
Joel Grey originated the MC in Cabaret in 1966. He then went on to play the role in the 1972 Bob Fosse film adaptation, where he won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. So if this were any other medium, that would be the character. The mid-20th century view of the MC as they saw it. However, since musical theater is an ever-changing, ever-evolving, and ever-growing medium, we were able to see something completely different in the late 20th century with Alan Cumming.
Welcome and bienvenue, welcome. Fremder, étranger, stranger.
I mean, this is something you can only find in theater. Stories can never be outgrown when they're able to be evolving with the times. I mean, My Fair Lady, the most recent revival, changed the ending to be something more accommodating with modern sensibilities. Carousel also recently had changes in the 2018 revival, as many people pointed out. It didn't fix much, but only musical theater can find so many wonderful changes throughout time. Musical theater can evolve. Birth of a Nation and Star Wars will always be the same. And that's what sets musical theater apart. I don't cry at movies. I rarely cry at any form of media. I don't cry at books, TV shows, anything. The reason I don't cry is because I have the option to go away. If a movie is getting too emotionally complex for me to handle, I can always just turn it off. A book, I can just shut it. The thing about musical theater is you're kind of trapped. If you're in an emotionally heated moment and you're in a musical, you can't just get up and leave. You're bound by societal expectations to just sit there and be in the moment. Aside from plugging your ears and looking down at your shoes, you're there with the emotion in the scene, right in front of you. Find that anywhere else. Many people who love musical theater have had that moment. It's different for all of us, but we have all had it. When we are in a live theater seeing a musical and something on stage occurs that is so emotionally compelling that we will never have any moment that will ever compare to it in any other form of media. For some, it was watching Jesse L. Martin sing I'll Cover You in Rent. For others, it was seeing Philippa Sue sing Burn in Hamilton. And perhaps to some of you it was seeing Ethel Merman sing Rose's Turn. Everyone's is different, but let me talk about mine. Imagine you're at the Circle and Square Theater in New York City, watching Michael Cerveris as Bruce Bechtel, close enough to touch him, sing about how his unhinging mind is leading him to his inevitable suicide. There is no off button. There is no disconnect. It's simply you watching a man slowly decide to take his own life, and you sit there, forced into your small wood seat without anything you can do about it, feeling your emotions and being present in the moment. Find me any form of storytelling that can top that type of experience. This is why so many people have such a emotional connection to an adaptation of a cartoon sponge from Nickelodeon. The addition of the human element makes the character so much more real and honest than the drawn original. This is what separates musical theater from any form of medium. You can't escape it, and it's real. Now, most people who watch a Marvel film will never get the chance to perform as Captain America. Most people who watch a Star Wars will never get the chance to put their spin on how Luke Skywalker is played. However, any theater kid can watch Heathers and wonder how she will interpret Veronica Sawyer in a community production, or excite themselves at the idea of playing Riff Raff in their school's production of Rocky Horror Picture Show. Theater lives in the community. Without it, we would be bereft of theater greats like Manuel-Miranda, who you can find some fantastic high school performances from. Theater is for everyone, and literally everyone watching can do it if they wish to. There is no film equivalent or like TV equivalent or even novel equivalent to community theater, and that's truly what sets musical theater apart from any other medium. There are a lot of traumatic musicals involving topics such as death, abortion, suicide, depression, etc. These things, when found in a grounded universe, without singing and with a concrete ending, would be a horribly uncomfortable and tragic experience. But what separates musical theater is the ending ritual that concludes the entirety of every theatrical experience. The bows. The bows are the moment when you realize the person that gave you that emotional release, that experience, is both alive, well, and fully deserving of your appreciation, and it's your time to give it. thank you for watching. I know it has been a while, like a few years while, since I came on here and started spewing out opinions, but I promise more stuff is in the future, and I will explain my absence in an upcoming video. If you would please subscribe, bell icon, like, tell your friends about this. I'm trying to breach positivity in the musical theater world. Not that it isn't positive enough, but another positive voice doesn't hurt. Also, I have a podcast going on if you're bored at work and it helps you through the day. Recently, we did one on Little Shop of Horrors, and even more recently, we probably did one where Andrew plays a game. Me and my friend Andrew, he doesn't like musical theater, and I'm trying to convince him to like it more. It's a real fun idea, we have fun doing it, and really it's just us having fun, more or less. Nothing too crazy there. I laugh really hard throughout it, and that's fun. Yeah, click that in the doobly-doo below. I know channel rebranding isn't always the most effective thing in the world and quite often just confuses people, but I really, really wanted to get my name out of the title, and it was a stupid name that I came up with in high school and I was stuck with. But now I'm trying to do something different, so let's see where we can go with this, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.